Now, yes, finally, okay, nigga, we made it. Okay, we made it to 500,000, man. That shit is crazy. And honestly, I don't even know how to, thank you. If you're watching this video right now, that means that you actually, fuck with this channel, you fuck with me, you support everything that I've been doing on here. These conversations, they mean so much to me. And I just think there's so much to be said regarding hip hop, because hip hop right now is flourishing. It's winning. It's the #1 genre in the country. And man, I'm just sitting here looking at the amount of subscribers I actually have, and it says 500K, which is fucking insane. And it's strange because usually when people get to, milestones like this, one thing you hear them say is, I didn't think that I would get here. But to be honest, me personally, I always had like this vision for this channel, this vision of everything is possible if I put in the work. And that's exactly what I've been doing for these almost 2 years. Goddamn, time really flies, man. And now, okay, I'm never gonna stop saying now, by the way, but now we've gotten to a point where I've reached this crazy fucking milestone with the help of you. And honestly, like, from the bottom of my heart, you can't see my hands, by the way, I'm just doing the praying thing. I'm just gonna put the emoji that I'm talking about right here. From the bottom of my heart, I want to thank everybody who's been messing with this channel. And it's funny because I always genuinely thought that I would be content with getting to 500K, but to be honest, man, I want 1 million now. Where's the million? I know that I could get to 3, 4, 5, 10 million. I could do that shit. It's possible, man. So yeah, before we got into the Q&A, I literally just wanted to thank you. Okay, I just wanted to thank you. Even though I'm the person who's making these videos, you're the person who's keeping this conversation alive with me. So yeah, now that we have that out of the way, let's get to the actual Q&A. By the way, these questions are from Twitter. I put up this tweet right here and I got a bunch of questions. So let's start with the first one, which is from Amiri. I think some of you guys might actually recognize Amiri. He's the guy with the deep ass voice who makes hip hop videos. Shout out to Amiri. But Amiri said, what would you be doing with your time if you weren't making YouTube videos? I think this is a really great question because I've kind of been thinking about this lately. What the fuck would I be doing if I weren't making these videos, man? Good ass question. Let me think about that for a second. I would probably be in college right now, definitely. College was in the back of my head before I started this YouTube thing. And it's not because I genuinely wanted to go to college. It's literally because I didn't have any other choice. Speaking for myself, I have always been the kind of person, I've never really liked school. School to me has always been the kind of thing where I just have to do it. I don't have a choice. So the fact that I wanted to go to college before I started this YouTube thing, it wasn't because I genuinely wanted to. So to answer the question, I would definitely be in college. What I would be studying though, I don't even know, to be honest, but I can't say something with media, something with video production, kind of what I'm doing right now, to be honest, but of course it would be in a completely different world, in a completely different field. So yeah, hopefully that answered the question, and let's move on to the next question, which is from my man's Loiter. If am I saying that correctly? Loiter? Okay. If I'm not saying that correctly, I'm sorry, but my man's Loiter said, have people recognize you in public? Your voice, yo, you kind of sound like BlackySpeakz. This question makes a lot of sense. I mean, since my voice is so distinct, have I ever been in a situation where someone has said that I sound like this guy on the internet with no face called BlackySpeakz? Someone approaching me directly and specifically saying that I sound like BlackySpeakz, that's never happened. But I've been in a situation, let's say that I've been in certain functions, okay? You know what my channel is about, okay? These certain functions are, concerts, hip-hop events. And I've been in multiple conversations with people who I know, okay? They know who BlackySpeakz is. They didn't really directly say it because I didn't even want it to go there, gotta stay safe out here, right? But they've kind of hinted that they watch a lot of hip-hop content. They watch DJ Academics, they watch Dom is Live. And if you're that deep into this thing, then you know who I am, right? It's no question. But the thing is, every time I've been in one of these situations where someone might actually recognize my voice, I always steer the conversation to the direction I want it to go in. So I don't ask them, yo, name every single hip hop YouTuber you watch, because then they're gonna go DJ Academics, Dom is Live, Sean C, and BlackySpeakz, and I'm gonna have that look of, oh, I am fooled, bro. Okay, like my look would probably give that shit away. So to answer the question, no, it's never directly happened, but I've been in these situations where the people around me, I know that they know who I am, but it's never gotten to the point where they ask me if I am Blackie. So yeah, there we have that. But let's move on to the next question, which is from my man Alex. And Alex said, how old were you when you started liking hip hop, and what's the story behind it? So some of you guys may actually know because I put it on my Instagram, but the rapper who got me into hip hop is none other than the motherfucking GOAT Lil Wayne. So the year was 2008, and I came across this song right here. Like it's nothing to a big dog. I'm a Great Dane. I'm with H. Okay, I'm gonna stop because they're probably gonna copyright my ass. But I came across Got Money by Lil Wayne featuring T-Pain, and that's how I fell in love with hip hop for the first time. And since it was the year 2008, I remember a couple months after that song came out, the Carter 3 came out, and Lil Wayne was pretty much running the entire rap game. I mean, Wayne had the entire game on chokehold. He was the king of 2008. The man was untouchable. I mean, the shit that he did in 2008, he created history, and the entire energy surrounding him was one of the main reasons as to why I even became a hardcore Lil Wayne fan. Wayne was my first love. Actually, that sounds a little bit sus, but pretty much Wayne was the person who got me into hip hop. But let's move on to the next question, which is from a man Andrew, and Andrew says, why is Logic your favorite rapper? He's mine too, and I just want to know what your reasons are. Another really good question. So if you don't already know, Logic is actually my favorite rapper. But when a lot of people ask me that question of who's your favorite rapper and I say Logic, of course the response I get is why the fuck is Logic your favorite rapper? And I'm only saying that because let's keep it real, the general hip hop community doesn't really rate Logic as a good rapper anymore. So why is Logic my favorite rapper? Well, the simple answer is he's done so much for me in the past to the point where I feel like I owe him, man. And it's really strange for me to say that because what the hell does you owing him have to do with him being your favorite rapper? Even though Wayne was the person who got me into hip hop and made me fall in love with hip hop, Logic was my first real favorite rapper that I was supporting on a whole nother level. And when I started listening to him, I just found so much inspiration, so much motivation in his music. It was this new exciting source of motivation I didn't have in my life before finding him. It was almost like a weird driving force because I always felt like he was speaking to me. At some points in my life, his music was the only positive thing I could keep on coming back to time after time. So as you can see, when it comes to Logic, it ain't about him being a quote-unquote good rapper. It's really more about what he's done for me on a deep emotional level. That's the reason why he's my favorite rapper. But let's move on to the next question, which is the question I get the most, okay? This is the kind of question I've gotten about 1,000,000 times now. And usually when people say 1,000,000, I mean, most of us are, of course, exaggerating, but this time I don't think I am. Anyway, you already know what question it is, and it's from my man's Isaiah. And Isaiah said, when are you doing a face reveal? So there's two answers to this question because one part of it is, like my man asked, when are you doing a face reveal? And the other part is, why haven't you done a face reveal yet? So let me answer the second question first. So I did a Q&A on my Instagram a couple months ago, and of course, I got asked about the whole face reveal thing. And just in case you want to read what I wrote, I'm going to put it on the screen right now, but my answer to this question is kind of different right now. Or actually, it's kind of the same, but the only difference is I'm going to add a couple things to it. So the answer to this question is very simple, okay? And that answer is, I don't need to make a face reveal. I want you to think about what I'm saying here because, even if I did a face reveal, my videos wouldn't change at all. Nothing about the formula, nothing about the way I make my videos, none of that would ever change just because I show myself. And if I'm gonna keep it all the way real, I feel like doing a face reveal at this point of my life right now would probably just bring me way more distractions more than anything. Right now, I'm on a mission to build my foundation as far as my content goes. I don't have a big social circle. I have a couple of really good friends that I hang out with. I'm living a very, low-key kind of life, which I enjoy. I do what I like. I make these videos, I work out, I have fun, I go out with my friends. Technically, nothing would really change. I mean, ain't nobody holding a gun to my head. Even if I did a face reveal, I can do whatever the hell I want to do. But then again, it's like, why would I even add that part into my life when I don't really even need to? As of now, there's literally no benefit whatsoever of me doing a face reveal. But if we're talking 5 years down the road, that is a whole nother answer. And that leads me to the first question, when am I doing a face reveal? Sometime down the road, maybe 2, 3, 4 years, I don't know how long. But if we're talking in the future, when am I actually gonna show myself? It would really benefit me to show myself then, because by then I've built my entire brand. I have established myself as a quote-unquote personality, or whatever you want to call it. I have way more resources, I have way more connections, which means if I wanted to, I could fuck around and create my own everyday struggle. But now none of that matters because I'm not even trying to do that. You get what I'm saying? And plus, it doesn't really help that I'm naturally introverted, so I guess that's one aspect of this entire thing. And plus, another thing I thought about, I'm by nature a very private person, so I'd rather not put my entire business and personal life out there for everybody to see. So yeah, that's all I have to say about the whole face reveal thing, okay? You got the answer now. But if for some reason you're still very curious on what I look like, here's a recent picture of myself that I put up on my Instagram. Obviously you can't see my face, but you can kind of see what I look like. We got the drip on lock, as you can see. But nah, seriously, as you can see, there's really nothing special here, just another black guy. So as as far as I can tell, technically there's not even anything for me to face reveal. But let's move on to the next question, which is from my man's D-Tags. And my man said, how old are you? It's either late teens or early 20s, but I can't tell. So I am 23 years old, and that's about that. Let's move on to the next question, which is from my man's J Hunk, and he says, what made you go with the name BlackySpeakz, and what made you want to do YouTube? I like this, 2 birds in 1 stone, so let's answer this. First of all, how did I come up with the name BlackySpeakz? Well, it's very simple. I'm a black guy who talks into a microphone. I actually cannot believe that all you motherfuckers thought that I was white, because my name clearly says otherwise. But you know, on a serious note, that's pretty much the meaning behind BlackySpeakz. Of course, I couldn't name myself Black Speak because that simply sounds very weird on the tongue. I wanted something that was very catchy. I wanted something that was easy to remember, but also it was unique to me as a person. So yeah, that's pretty much how I came up with BlackySpeakz. And by the way, the Z at the end is very important because it adds a different kind of sauce, okay, sauce to my name. I feel like that Z kind of, you know, just made everything stick together, to be honest. You know, I can't imagine my YouTube name being BlackySpeakz with an S. I mean, that just sounds wrong on every level. And then the second part of that question was, let me check really quickly, what made you want to do YouTube? See, the thing is, everything I talk about on my channel, I used to have all these conversations, but none of these conversations were recorded or put on the internet. And of course, what I mean by that is I used to have all these conversations with my friends. Now, the difference between my friends and something like YouTube is this microphone that I'm talking into right now can't tell me to stop talking about hip-hop, but my friends can tell me to stop talking about hip-hop because they don't care about the culture as much as I do. They don't want to sit and have a 45-minute conversation about the real reason why Drake and Kanye are beefing, but I do. I care about having those conversations, and I know that other people do. So what better way is there than sharing my voice on the internet where there are people who are searching for this kind of content? That's pretty much the reason why I even started this channel in the first place. I simply wanted to use it as an outlet for all the thoughts and, you know, conversations that I have in my head, because there's a bunch of people who are dying to hear about conversations related to hip-hop. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that question. Now let's move on to the next question, which comes from my man Film Gangsta. I fuck with that name. So Film Gangsta asked, what do you think should change in hip-hop? This is a really good question. So if there is one thing I think should change in hip-hop, okay, as a culture as a whole, it's definitely the amount of negativity this culture has. I don't know about you, but I think there is too much, okay, too much negativity in this culture. It's funny because I noticed this even on my channel. So, you know, I would personally say that my channel is kind of positive. I don't make videos hating on other people. I don't spread negativity. What I do is I always try to keep it to the conversation. Of course, sometimes if I'm talking about, I don't know, Jumex, I might roast him in the video. I might be a little bit aggressive, but really it's not because I, you know, despise him or hate him or anything like that. It's literally because I'm very passionate about the conversation. And whenever I talk about, let's say, you know, the situation with Bunk, okay, so Bunk was crying for help. He was damn near suicidal and people were clowning him. And of course, I made that video called Bunk is Dying in Front of Us, which is till this day my most viewed video, which is kind of crazy. That video in itself though, that piece of content, that's a very positive video right there with a very positive message overall. But then again, don't forget, I decided to make it a positive video, okay? I made that decision. But then again, Bunk is dying in front of us. Is that something positive? But it's funny because that video has damn near, what is it, 6 million views at this point? So what that tells me is the majority of people are attracted to negativity. That's just how it works. And you see this in every part of hip-hop. Often what gets the most amount of attention is the dumbed down and negative stuff. Of course, this isn't something that's only limited to hip-hop. We see this in, for example, the news. What is the news doing to us? Their job is to put as much fear in us as possible because they want us to keep on coming back. They want to make us feel like we have to come back to the news, otherwise we might die from this deadly disease that's spreading. And if only we would have turned on the news, maybe we wouldn't have died from this deadly disease. You see what I mean? That's exactly what they are trying to do. And in a sense, every time I make a video on something that's quote unquote negative in hip hop, I'm pretty much doing the same thing. But the difference between me and CNN is I'm spinning my actual content in a way where it's actually positive. It's not me just talking about the negativity of the situation. When I talk about something like Bunk is dying in front of us, what I want to do is not only talk about the situation, but maybe add an optimistic kind of perspective to this whole thing. And to be honest, you know, I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot by doing that because most people like the negativity, which is really sad if you think about it. I mean, that's how shit is nowadays. But of course, that doesn't affect what I'm doing on my channel. I'm gonna keep on doing shit the way I've been doing it. But yeah, that was the long answer to that question, and there you have it. If I could change one thing, it would be the negativity aspect of hip-hop. Let's move on to the next question though, which is from Chris, and Chris says, is it possible for BlackySpeakz to start a video without going now? That is actually a possibility, but only if someone is holding a gun to my head and threatening me to not say the word now. It's gonna be on some, you've seen Pulp Fiction, right? You've seen that scene where Samuel L. Jackson is pulling up with a gun to the guy saying, say what again, motherfucker, say it again. Well, for me, it's gonna be on some shit like, say now again, motherfucker, or I'll blow your fucking brains out. So the answer to that question is, as you can imagine, no, I'm never gonna stop saying now, okay? It's gonna be in all my videos. You gotta deal with it, my mans. But let's move on to the next question, which is from Unknown Guy 540, and he said, do you have any separate jobs other than YouTube? Actually, no. This is the only thing I'm doing right now. This is my job at the moment. I did see a tweet where someone asked, what did you used to work with before this? So while we're at it anyway, let me just answer that too. So before this, I used to work at a customer service job, and I absolutely hated that job, as you could imagine, because I was sitting on my ass taking calls 10 hours a day and getting paid dirt. Okay, I wasn't getting paid shit. And I remember vividly how I always used to go to the bathroom on my breaks. I used to look myself in the mirror and say, yo, is this what life really is? Working at a job you absolutely hate for 50% of your entire day. And it doesn't stop there, because there's a chance that you're gonna be here in the same position that you're in right now for more than a decade. There is a chance if you don't do shit about it. And don't get it twisted, because that's the reality. That's what happens when you don't do anything about your situation. I don't want to be on some motivational shit here, but one thing I want to say is, and I wish someone told me this when I was in that position, if you don't do anything about your situation, nothing will change. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, it's all gonna pass, because time doesn't stop for anybody. And when that time passes, you're gonna hate yourself for not doing anything about it. Just remember. Disclaimer, I'm no preacher, okay? I don't have life figured out. I'm as stupid as anybody on this planet. Generally, I think we as human beings, we kind of overestimate how much we actually know. But you know, from time to time, I think it's okay to share what you know. So I just wanted to make that clear. But of course, I'm going to stop ranting and let's move on to the next question. So the next question, or actually it's two people, okay? One of them is called Nemesis FX and the other one is from Matt23. Both of these guys asked the same question, and it's regarding Hampton and whether or not I've listened to their music, and if I have, what do I think about them? So what is my honest opinion on Hampton? Well, my honest opinion is I haven't listened to their music yet. And no, I'm not joking. Some people are gonna think I'm trolling, but I literally have not listened to their music. It's not because I don't want to, but it's just because it hasn't happened. I've been getting some requests about, you know, making a video on them, my thoughts on them, and it's just never happened. I can't even answer the question why. So you know what? I feel like I gotta change that sometime in the future, and I promise I will. I don't know exactly when I'm gonna make that video, but I promise I will make it sometime. It could be tomorrow or it could be in 10 years. I don't know. Okay, please don't hold a gun to my head, but I promise I will make it sometime. But let's move on to the next question. Now, the next question comes from Childly, and he said, what artist did you feel had so much potential but fell off hard? This is a very easy one for me. Now, it's not a rapper, but it's an artist I have talked about on this channel multiple times before. He goes by the name of August Alsina, one of my favorite R&B artists. But if you know anything about August Alsina, he's been dealing with a lot of health issues throughout his entire career. He's been suffering from one very just deadly disease that he's talked about, which is very unfortunate, and then he's also been dealing with a lot of issues with his vision. He's also had a lot of label issues, and pretty much all those things all added up together have been the downfall of his relevancy. I remember when he came out in 2013 and he was popping as hell, man. And now a couple years later, nobody really even cares about him. Nobody rates him anymore. Nobody checks for his music, which is kind of sad, honestly. I feel like he had so much potential. He had so much to give, but unfortunately, a lot of things were kind of working against him. Let's move on to the next question, which is from Jay, and hopefully I'm saying that correctly. But he asked, Gunna or Lil Baby, who do you prefer to listen to? Me personally, if I had to pick one of them, I would definitely say Lil Baby. Gunna to me just gets very boring at times. I mean, his music it's lit at times, of course. But overall, as a rapper, I prefer Lil Baby any day. I just think that Lil Baby has way more of an interesting voice. I think Lil Baby is just way more versatile with his entire sound. Gunna to me is really just not that entertaining, to be honest. So if I had to pick one, definitely Lil Baby. Moving on to the next question from Tyler Bennett 2. I appreciate you, bro. You've been a loyal subscriber of mine. But Tyler said, how many years did you think it would take you to reach 500k when you first started YouTube? I honestly thought getting to this point that I'm in right now would take me at least 2 to 3 years. That's what I was counting on, because I got to 100k subscribers in December 2017 on my birthday, by the way. And then at that point I was thinking I got to 100k subscribers in 6 to 7 months, but from this point on it's probably gonna slow down a little bit. So if you want to be at 500k, you're gonna have to put in at least 2 to 3 years of consistent work, and I was completely okay with that. That's what I was counting on. But of course that's not how it turned out, and you know, I'm happy for whatever is coming my way. And I honestly feel the same about 1 million, because right now 1 million seems so far away, but who knows, 5 months from now maybe I'm at 1 million, maybe I'm at 2 million. I don't know. I'm gonna let the universe do its thing. Let's move on to the next question though, which is from Real Raspy Films, and he said, have you ever tried making music yourself? Some of you guys may actually know that I do have music recorded, but whether or not I'm gonna release that music sometime, it'll probably happen. I just don't know when. Maybe it'll happen at 1 million or something. I'm not sure. I'm just talking out of my ass right now. So yeah, let's keep on moving, and let's move on to the next question, which is from Dr. KitKat, who asked, are you planning to do a podcast soon? Yes, a podcast is actually in the works. A lot of people have been asking for it, and you know, I thought I'd make it happen, so it is definitely in the works. I can't give you a time on when it's gonna happen, but it is gonna happen sometime in the future, so stay tuned for that. But let's move on to the next question, which is from Ben, and he said, what are your favorite YouTube channels to watch? At the moment I'm really messing with Traplo Ross, aka the British guy who's snitching on all rappers. I think some of you guys have seen his videos, but I also really mess with Birdman, aka the Eugene Killer. Shout out to the Eugene squad, man. I know a lot of you guys actually watch Birdman, but yeah, Birdman is definitely one of them. And also another person is my brother, actually my real life brother, aka Honest. Another person I watch religiously is AMS. Shout out to everyone who fucks with AMS, man. That's the GOAT. And then another channel I really mess with is Graham Stephan's channel. He pretty much talks about finances, and that's what he does. So yeah, there we have the Q&A I promised, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned a little bit about me, and hopefully you can kind of connect with me a little bit more after this one. I feel like this was kind of necessary to do, because I'm not really a personality, so to speak. I talk about hip-hop and that's pretty much it. You don't know anything about me, but now you do know a little bit about me. Once again, I want to thank you for messing with this channel. 500,000 is a crazy milestone, and from this point hopefully we can keep on growing and eventually see 1 million. And yeah, I just want to thank you for your support. I don't really have anything more to say, so yeah, let's have a discussion about this Q&A.